Hey everybody, welcome once again. It's Thursday night, time for another edition of Hangin' Bangin', Artist on Lockdown. I'm your host, Ron Onesti from Rock and Roll Heaven right outside of Chicago in St. Charles, Illinois, the Arcada Theater. And tonight is a very, very special, kind of an emotional edition of Hangin' and Bangin' here with my two brothers, the Appice/Appice brothers, and we're going to bring you right to the microphone in a second here. But tonight is a very, very special edition, as I mentioned, because this is our celebration of life and the memory of a man who has touched so many lives. He's a bass player, was a bass player extraordinaire, of course, originally with Vanilla Fudge, of course, and had several bands we'll talk about later on. But Tim Bogert, we lost on January 13th at the age of 76 to cancer. And again, another one gone too soon, another legend, another icon. And we'll be talking to his bandmates, we'll be talking to his contemporaries, and really, this is a big club of fans that we're going to be talking about the life and times and their memories of Mr. Tim Bogert. So without any further ado, let me bring the brothers, and I'm going to hold off on Carmine for a second, because if there's one show that this is extremely special, especially about Carmine Appice, it's this one. So give me a second, Carm. But first of all, I'd like to bring your brother, my brother. You know him from Dio. You know him from Black Sabbath. Another legendary icon behind the drums, Mr. Vinny Appice. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
How you doing, Ron?
It's good to see you.
All that aside, what's with the white sweater?
So here's the thing. I knew you were going to give it. So what is it, our 30, I don't know, maybe 35th, 36th week, whatever we're doing here, is over 6 months doing it. And every week I've had a shirt that was in tribute to our guest or two. And you know, we got hit. And I'm going to give you a freaking sorry excuse, but it's the truth. You know, in Chicago, we got hit with 14 inches of snow. And I put a sweater on today, I'll be honest with you. So wow. I have, if you look behind me here, there's what would be on my shirt right now. See that's today.
Oh, yeah.
But I knew you were going to give me some crap about it. I knew it.
Of course.
But you look good. You look good.
It wouldn't be the same. So if I didn't.
So you know what? We've got a big show here. We got
let's go on.
It's a bittersweet thing. We got a lot of joking. We always do, but this is a bittersweet show tonight. And let's bring a guy to the microphone. Obviously, your brother and the big brother to so many others as well in this industry. As I mentioned before in several editions here, that, you know, there's few of you guys out there that have touched so many professional lives. And Carmine Appice is one of them from Vanilla Fudge, of course, bandmate to Tim Bogert. And he's going to have not only is he host of this show, but he is also a very special guest tonight. Vinny, let's bring on your brother. Carmine.
Hey.
How you doing, buddy?
Good. I wasn't going to say anything about the shirt. I was going to say the background looks really good.
Well,
yeah,
you know,
the background's nice.
Well, I've got my records up on the wall too.
Yeah, you look like a newscaster now.
Yeah, I saw. I think I sold on this one. I sold this one here. Wait a second, this one. I sold 47 copies. I was very excited. This one here is my somewhat platinum because I did hit the 50 copy mark, so I'm very excited.
There you go.
Nice.
But anyway, Carmine, you know, this is a very, as I mentioned to Vinny, the drum monster, a very special show. Obviously, you know, you're a host of this show, but tonight you're a very, very special and honored guest on our show because obviously you lost your brother here. Your other brother in Tim Bogert, been together since the early 60s, started Vanilla Fudge together.
Yeah.
And just brutal. I can just imagine.
And you know, we got Tim's wife watching tonight too.
Oh, God bless her. God bless her
family.
And this is out to you, my dear, and your family. Our hearts are with the Bogert family. And this is from all of us in the rock and roll world, the music world. God bless Tim, and thanks to Tim for everything he's done for not just for music but for musicians. And we're going to hear from someone like Billy Sheehan and other guys that have been affected, influenced by the likes and the music and the methodology of Tim Bogert. So you know what I'd like to do, Carmine, because again, I know you've got a lot to talk about with Tim. And what I'd like to do, I'd like to bring all our guests out because, we love jam sessions. Those are great. We talked to David Fishoff from the School of Rock the classic, the Rock Camps, our last edition. And it always finishes with this great big jam. Well, tonight I'd like this to be like an audio, like a verbal jam, all in tribute to our brother, Tim Bogert. So let's bring him out. I'll start out with Warren. You know him from the Allman Brothers Band. You know him from Government Mule. This guy, as far as rock and roll historian, this guy knows his stuff, and he's had some great words about Tim Bogert. Let's bring Warren Haynes out. Warren, so good to see you, and thank you for being part of this very special show.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's good to see you, buddy.
My pleasure. Glad to be here.
How you been holding up during this whole pandemic thing?
It's tough. It's tough for all of us. And I think we're all thinking the same thing is let's get back to work.
Right.
Well, we're feeling that it's maybe there's some light around at the end of the tunnel. I think we're feeling at this point. Maybe summer,
we hope so. Yeah. Let's keep our fingers crossed. But, I keep telling people I haven't been home this much since I was 15.
All of us.
Yeah, really.
It's everybody, right?
It is, yeah. I haven't gone this long without gigging since I was 15, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know everyone's feeling it. Another guy that a very good a friend of our show, friend of the Arcada Theater, and obviously a friend and follower of Mr. Tim Bogert. Let's bring from Mr. Big, Winery Dogs, of course, and so many other bands. But again, another bass legend, our good friend, Mr. Billy Sheehan. How you doing, Billy?
Doing great. Doing
Hey.
good. Wonderful to see all you guys. Warren, Carmine,
Yeah, man.
Vinny, and Ron, of course.
Yeah.
We might be in trouble. You got the bass in your hand.
I
I
know.
don't know.
I love it.
Are you going to show it? You going to show us some of Timmy's licks?
Absolutely. Hey, but we got all kinds of things going on tonight, man. It's going to be great. You're like Bumblefoot. I never see you without a freaking instrument in your hand. It's crazy. There it is.
Look at that.
There
you go.
Yeah, man.
Hey, let's bring out. We got another brother that's waiting to come on to the show. We're going to do this big old jam session, this audio verbal jam session in tribute to Tim Bogert, our brother that we lost on January 13th. But you know him from the Fab Four, but you also know him from all of the Conan O'Brien shows, Tonight shows, the Conan show. It's really an honor to have him. I haven't met him before, but I'm really excited to see him from Conan. Mr. Jimmy Vivino, let's get him on. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Jimmy.
Ron. Hey, Billy, how are you? Hey, everybody. Hey,
Hi, Jimmy.
I got to talk about the shirt. Shirt, too. Because, Italians, you're going to get a gravy stain on that. And, you don't wear white. We just don't.
That's right.
I know. It's funny because I got a plate of meatballs right there waiting for me. So it's
You get one road meatball, it's all over.
it's all over.
Hey, Warren, everybody, man. Hey, y'all.
Jimmy. How you doing, man?
This is a testament to this beard started about here last March.
That's crazy, man.
I refuse to dye it or cut it until
I want to grow one, but then I want to do the whole comb over thing. I think that'll help.
Oh,
me out.
good. Well, we just got rid of that guy, didn't we, with the comb over? But go ahead.
Yeah, I know. Hey, thank you for joining us, Jimmy. Another Italian cousin of ours.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Really
I know.
appreciate it.
You peppered it with a couple of non-Italians, but they're all.
It can't all be the garlic. We got to throw a little parsley in there too.
I'm married to an Italian, so
you sure are. You really are.
We got our sympathy. Now you got us feeling sorry for you.
yeah.
There you go.
All right, we got another guy that, again, it's really an honor to bring him to the show. A very special individual. You know him for obviously his guitar playing, but also had some special moments with our subject of honor, Mr. Tim Bogert tonight. Let's bring him to the stage. Another Italian cousin, Mr. Joe Bonamassa. How you doing, Joe?
Yeah.
Hey, Joe.
I'm doing great.
Hey,
Joe. Nice to see you, gentlemen. I'm in the middle of producing Jimmy Hall, the legendary Jimmy Hall here in Nashville.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And he wanted me to send his regards and says he has lots of fond memories of Wet Willie and Beck Bogert and Appice doing shows.
Right. Yeah.
73, 74, and was really, really sad to learn of Tim's passing, and so was I.
Where does Jimmy live now? Is he,
Timmy's been in Nashville for 41 years, he likes to say.
Wow.
Way ahead.
But I think finally he's been talking about moving to California because I think the weather's finally, enough is enough. So, but been great.
Well, thanks for joining us, Joe. It's a
Very
very special show tonight. And I save the introduction of these last two guys, but I'd like to bring them on at the same time because, obviously not only were they musical brothers of Mr. Bogert, but also, from my understanding, Carmine, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time that you three musical brothers have gotten together, vocally here since the passing of Tim.
Oh yeah.
So let's bring your
and
bandmates.
before.
Yes. So let's bring your bandmates, Tim Bogert's bandmates together, the members of Vanilla Fudge. We've got Vince Martell, guitarist, and of course Mark Stein on the keys. Joining us tonight.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing?
This is a freaking all-star team here, man.
Yeah.
Wow. We
lost
got 9 guys. We
Vinny.
could be a baseball team here.
Yeah.
The Brady
we
bunch.
lost Vinny.
Nope.
I can't see Vinny.
We gotta get
Vinny,
Another Vinny.
He's probably wearing a black.
Also, Warren Haynes, two of my favorite
Yeah.
ball players.
Hey.
Well, we'll get
Thank you,
we'll get
man.
Vince. And I got to tell you, Mark, we've been doing this show for well over 6 months, 36, 37, 38 episodes, what it is. And I tell you what, I still love the way we start the show every time with set me free, why don't you, baby? I love it. I love it. I love it. And it sets the table. So, gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. And
All right.
this is a real special show, obviously. And I hats off to the members, of course, of Vanilla Fudge, not only for what you've done, since '67 with the Fudge, getting it going, but also tonight paying tribute to Tim. Carmine, I got to start with you. I mean, besides the obvious, what is the passing of Tim mean to you at this particular time?
Well, for me, it's been really rough. A month ago, I was talking to Tim and his wife, and we were all in tears about the fact that he was going to pass. And Tim was very brave. And to me, he's like a brother. I went through so many bands with him, still played him, as late as, 2010 or 11. And, it's definitely one of my favorite bass players to play with. I think it's him and Tony Franklin are my two favorite guys to play with. And, Tim was the original. Tim was the original maniac bass player.
Yep.
And he knew how to play a groove, and he knew how to go out there and come back. And sometimes he never came back. He used to go out there and just stayed out there. Yeah, and I was holding the groove, and I'd say, "Tim, come on back." But we had a thing. It's like me and my brother when we played together. We just looked at each other and we knew what we were thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we have the very last track that Tim recorded on a Vanilla Fudge track. We recorded about a year and a half ago. It's a Supreme songs. Mark did a great arrangement of this. Stop in the Name of Love.
Okay.
And we put it together, and we went over Jorgen's house. Jorgen is the bass player from Government Mule.
Mm-hmm.
And we put Tim down, and at the point he wasn't feeling great, but you know what? He did a great job. And the thing that screwed it up was the drum tracks. The drum tracks screwed it up. So I'm going to fix those drum tracks in my studio here, and then we're going to get it mixed and properly and get it finished and really try and do something with it. And we have a picture. I believe I gave it to Ben, a producer, a picture of me, Jorgen, and Tim at that studio. It was the very last photo I did with Tim, and I think it's the last musician type photo that Tim ever did.
So when was this?
This was a year ago. He died on January 13th this year.
Right.
It was January 14th. There it is. January 14th of 220. That was Jorgen's studio.
Wow, man. God
That's
bless
cool.
him.
Yeah.
God
And
bless
you know,
him.
he bought that bass specifically to do that session because he always played 6-string basses, and he knew that I liked him better on a 4-string.
Oh,
So
really?
he got that bass just to do this session with us.
You had that much influence on him, and to the point where you dictated what bass he used?
Well, no, I don't know. He just knew that I loved the way he played 4-string.
That's
You
awesome.
know, and I did. When he played the 6-string, as Billy knows, it's not the same as a 4-string.
Yeah,
That's true.
soulful.
Right? What's the difference, Billy?
Well, Tim lived on that 4-string for so long that when he switched over to 5, I got a little tear came to my eye. I'm going to 7. But it's just you can concentrate more, I think, on your bass playing than mapping out where you got to go. For me, it's just the way to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, obviously, another Fudge original here. And just like, I got to toss it to you, just like I asked Carmine. I mean, a brother of yours since the beginning. What's his passing mean to you beside the obvious?
Well, way back in 1965, I was playing in a band called Rick Martin and the Showmen.
Yep.
And it was, it was a top 40 band. I guess I think I was 18 years old. And we were playing places in the city like the Headliner, the Peppermint Lounge, Wagon Wheel, all the hot spots in the city. And our original bass player got drafted. So I guess off to Vietnam he went. And I remember Rick calling me up and saying, well, I know this guy, Tim Bogert. He's real good. So we were on our way. I think we were playing in a bowling alley somewhere outside the city. And we picked Timmy up in his house in Ridgefield, New Jersey. And that's the first time I ever met him. He comes, bopping into the car with a little bebop hat on. And how you doing, man? So, we never played together. It was just like that. I guess Rick must have told him what songs we were going to be doing. Mm-hmm. But we never rehearsed. And we just went to the gig. And, obviously it was rough as hell, but I remember it was like, wow, I was really impressed. And then we just started hanging out. We became really good friends when we were teenagers. And Tim was heavily influenced by James Jamerson. You talk about a 4-string bass, the four-string, Fender Precision. So he was heavily influenced by him, and he loved Paul McCartney. So to me, Timmy became a combination of those two guys on steroids,
Wow.
Because it's true. He used to go on these incredible excursions, but, he'd always come home. He turned out to be pretty amazing. And, we used to hang out and talk about one day becoming pop stars, Back in those days, the name rock star didn't exist yet. So you were a pop star. So we'd go and see bands like the Young Rascals. Oh, yeah. Get blown away by that Blue-Eyed Soul, and then the Pigeons is the band that we had, and that's when Vinny Martell joined us, and we went to a place in Long Island called the Eye, and I'll never forget. I saw a band called the Vagrants.
Yeah,
Luckily West, who recently passed a few months ago as well.
Yep.
And when I saw the Vagrants, we saw the Vagrants. Our minds were so blown by the dynamics and the drama that they were putting into these songs. I went home that night and I said, I got to do that. I said, we have to do this. So the wheels started turning, and the drummer that we had, Joey Brennan, was a good drummer, but he was more like a Charlie Watts guy, So we needed somebody that could, cut the symphonic, long-winded arrangements that we wanted to put together with a lot of harmonies. Me and Tim went club to club looking for a good drummer, and we went into this place one night called the Choo Choo Club in Garfield, New Jersey.
Sure. And
there was Dean Parrish was the artist, a really soul singer, and I think it was a band called Thursday's Children, and this guy Carmine, right? Yeah. This guy Carmine was playing, and we sat at the bar, like right close to the stage, and this cat was like blowing us away, man. It was just so powerful with that bass drum and the funk and all these syncopated, and I think he was singing some stuff. Me and Tim we looked at each other and who's going to go talk to him? I said, I'll go talk to him. So I went backstage. I said, dude, would you come outside? We want to talk to you about something, and we explained about the music that we wanted to try and create. And Carmine said, yeah, man, that sounds awesome. I'm in. Next thing you know, the three of us started rehearsing, with Vinny Martell, of course, in a bar in Bayonne, New Jersey. Probably 10 days later, my dad got Phil Basile, who owned the Action House and a bunch of clubs out in Long Island, to give us a listen. So we went out and auditioned. He liked us. And we started from there. And Tim started to develop his style on stage. Not only was he a great bass player with tremendous feel, but visually he was like incredible. The way he would dance around the stage and come back to the middle of the stage on the downbeat. And we actually the Vanilla Fudge was, created that visual drama, collectively. But
and Mark, that was the first bass player I ever played with.
Really?
And all my other bands had left-hand bass on the keyboard.
I never knew that.
Blown away.
Felix style.
I was just blown away with him. I said, "Oh my God, this guy is amazing!" And Mark's voice was great, and Vinny was great, and so I was really, I had the thing in the back of my head. Let me check these guys out, but I wasn't really in until we played. When we played, I said, "That's it. I'm in."
Well, it's really incredible tonight, especially again, as I mentioned, this is the first time that the balance of the Fudge is together.
I'm back, guys, just to let you know.
Well, that's where I'm going to now. That again, the balance of the Fudge, which is really exciting to have you, Vince Martell, guitarist. We were talking to Mark and Carmine about their, how Tim's passing has affected them. Give us a little insight on your relationship with Tim Bogert.
Okay. For me, I got a couple of things I'd like to say about Timmy. I wrote it out because I wanted to get all the ideas and kind of like what I heard, what everybody's saying, Mark and Carmine. It was always an honor and adventure to work with Timmy. In '66, Mark and Timmy and drummer Joey Brennan and I used to rehearse at Timmy's house, front porch. Mark had his new B3 organ. I had a red 335 and a twin. Timmy had his precision bass B15 amp. We soon became the Pigeons. After rehearsals, we'd go for sodas and ice cream nearby, a la Happy Days. How ironic. We later became Vanilla Fudge. Timmy loved ice cream.
Really?
Okay?
That's funny.
And there's more. There's more. Here's the next part. We were playing a choo-choo club in Lodi, New Jersey. We were doing R&B tunes. Timmy told Mark about a drummer he saw with a funky foot. So we later became the Pigeons with Carmine. Timmy played sax in high school, and his bass playing was influenced by that. He had an uncanny way of going off on a wild tangent and coming back with precision on the top of the beat. Mark and us would dissect the tunes of the day. We'd reconstruct them. We all added our parts to bring these monsters to life. Okay?
No.
One more last part. Okay, guys. One more last part.
With the monkeys.
All right, one more. All right, go ahead.
One more last part. In 2006, we did Out Through the Indoor, a Zeppelin album. Timmy became a little bit more conservative in his playing, giving the song exactly what was needed. He locked in with Carmine, and they were like two players with one heartbeat. When I talked to Timmy a few weeks ago, Timmy said to me, "The Lord is calling me home." We prayed, and I know that Timmy is rocking in heaven.
Heck
Till
yeah.
we meet again, brother.
Wow.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Very good.
Great message, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, Joe Bonamassa. Now, I was doing some research on this, and I pulled up a great freaking video. Obviously the one, the Beck Bogert Appice album. You doing Superstition with them, but then I found out that there was a shot that it almost was Bonamassa, Bogert and Appice. How did that go down?
Well, I met Carmine and Tim years ago, and I was a fan. I was a fan, and then couldn't believe I was hanging out with these guys. And
well, they called you your little. They called you their little brother. That's how young you were.
Right. And, and one of the things that I just wanted to say about, Tim and Carmine, it's like, I've gotten the opportunity to meet a lot of my heroes, most of which are on this broadcast. And lucky are the few that when you get to meet your heroes, they turn out to be super genuine, sweet people as well. Because I've met some heroes of mine that weren't like that, and it kind of ruined their music for me a little bit, and I try to detach them. But we jammed a few times, and it was great, and unfortunately we never got it together. But it was one of those things that it was a thrill of a lifetime to play with Carmine and Tim, because I had studied so much the intricacies of how that rhythm section worked, and was trying my best to kind of, to just be, one of those guys, and I could never replace the other JB. We share the
close,
but not the talent, But it's a great honor to not only to pay tribute to a man I have a deep respect for musically, but as a friend and a gentleman who was a consummate gentleman at all times, and could regardless of how many he had, 2 strings or 6 or 20, he knew what to play, and he would always create this wonderful tension within the music.
Yeah.
Billy, thank you, Joe. Billy, you've mentioned him several times as being one of your top, if not the top, influence with regards to bass playing. I mean, I know, you've adjusted the Telecaster part of your bass. I mean, what is the number one thing that of influence you think you could attribute to Tim?
Well, Tim and Carmine together were a force of nature. And that's how I learned what you play on bass, is you play what the drummer plays. The bass drum and the snare drum. And Tim was doing the tom fills too. And every move that Carmine did, Tim did a corresponding bass move. And that to me would define how you play bass. And I got that from Tim, for sure. There were other guys that influenced me, but Tim was the number one guy. When I finally did meet him, he was the sweetest guy to me, the nicest guy. I'm just, beginning to get my spot, and he was just so generous to me and so kind. But his bass playing, I think he described it as Motown on acid, which would be James on acid, which makes perfect sense, because it's kind of exactly like that. He goes, like Carmine said earlier, he'd go way out, and sometimes stay out there. But, man, he always came back, and I just modeled myself after this record. I mean, that was
man,
so important to me. You look at these handsome gentlemen on the back here too.
Wow.
We used to sit and look at the album cover. Plus, it had a naked girl on the front. That didn't hurt at all. That was awesome.
Of course. But Billy, that's like a reoccurring statement from people of just how generous he was from a personal. Like, he will take the time to set you straight or give you those tips.
Absolutely, and a vocalist too. What a great.
He hit the highest notes of all of us.
Really?
I just saw that. I just saw the live with Jeff back to Superstition, where he just hits this high note and slides up and keeps on going, And his timing while he's playing, he's singing while he's playing guitar and singing is a lot easier than playing bass and singing. I certainly have mastered it, and Tim was a grandmaster.
Well, I tell you what, Jimmy Vivino, first of all, before we talk about Tim, I just got to say that I love on your site how you say that the best guitar is the one you don't have.
What? Joe?
I mean, that says a lot right there, right?
Well, I always get Joe Bonamassa always blames me for his habit. but rightly so. And about Timmy, those records, Take Me for a Little While to me is the benchmark for great bass playing. And not only, I don't know if it's all four of them putting into those arrangements, great Trade Martin song, which sounds nothing like that anywhere else in it's outer space, but also Shadow Morton, who created little dramas on all of his records with the Shangri-Las, I believe was partially instrumental in that vibe that was created on that record. That's the greatest breakout record. Guys, when I was 10 years old, younger than everybody. So these guys, I was like the kid looking over the fence at the Fudge and the Rascals, and when to reflect on what Joe said, when people step out of your record collection into your life, it's the greatest thing. And
it's a great statement.
It's true for all of us, though. I think it's true for every one of us. That bass part, Timmy tries so hard when that song starts to contain himself. But by the time, if you don't want me, well, he starts going. He's singing one of the parts live at the same time, and it just takes off. And nobody played like that ever. Yeah. Even Jamerson didn't. It was more of a pattern with Jamerson. With Timmy, it was spurts of Jamerson, spurts of McCartney, a little bit of jazz players.
A little bit of madness. That's the only song. That's the only song that Shadow Morton brought to the band. The rest of the album was our stage show.
Yeah,
just recorded. It wasn't, no overdubs. The only overdubs we did was some vocals and maybe People Get Ready. We might have overdubbed a few background vocals.
But a great band makes you think as a kid they wrote all those songs.
Sure.
Yeah. And the Rascals were kind of the forerunners of that,
Yeah,
slow and everything. And then
Dave
forgot, he said to me, you know why you guys know David, right? He's, Dave.
Yeah.
He says, know why they're the Vanilla Fudge? Because they took the Rascals and slowed it down. Like fudge dripping down.
Oh my God.
And even their vibratos, it's like more Ronnie Spector than Ronnie Spector,
And it's funny, we had the same speed vibratos as well.
Yes, it was beautiful. Now, I met Timmy in 1971. I think Restrictions had just come out. Sometime around October, November 1971.
Evil.
And, Cactus was going to play a show at Ramapo College in New Jersey.
Oh, my God.
And my band, I was 16. My band opened up for Cactus at that show.
Wow.
And Timmy, and there was a couch on the side of the stage. Timmy spent half of his set sitting on that couch. He wasn't even on stage. He was on the couch playing like this, and just looking over, telling my brother, hey, get lost. You got a beautiful girlfriend, Jerry. Get lost, Just telling my brother. And at the end of the night, I'll end the story with this. At the end of the night, one of your road crew forgot the SVT. I think he was playing an Ampeg SVT at the time. They left it outside the door. And our fathers were coming in their station wagons to pick us up, put our gear. And two guys in the band are like the devil and the angel on your shoulder. And one's going, let's take it. It's Tim Bogert's. We got to take it. The other guys, we can't take it. It's Tim Bogert's. We can't do that. Finally, your crew comes back and grabs the amp. That moment of, do you take it or what? And of course, the band didn't know what the crew left behind. But
that's the album.
Gentlemen, I just have my special guest is here to record on Jimmy Hall's record. I gotta run. I just wanted to say it's an honor to be here. I love Tim Bogert. I love all of you, and thanks for inviting me. Sorry I have to.
Tell Jimmy I said hi.
I will.
Me too. Me too, man.
All of us.
As good as ever, and it's just a celebration of music. I love you all. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Joe.
All right,
ciao.
Thanks a lot, Joe, for joining us. Joe Bonamassa joining us on our special tribute to Tim.
Jimmy, that record Restrictions had Evil on it, and Evil was the song that we played with Warren on one of the New Year's Eve gigs.
Yeah, that's right.
I played. I think we did together 5 New Year's Eve gigs.
Yeah.
With Warren and Governor Mule.
When Danny Lewis one of the sort of like sound checks, and Carmine and I were there, and and he's doing the "Keep Me Hanging On." He's doing the organ intro. Mark's fantastic composition of an intro,
Yes,
and Carmine, his ear is so good. Goes, wait a minute, that note is wrong. Yeah, and he just knows. Look, guys, a lot of people don't respect their records. We worship their records, as players, and it always bothered me working with Chuck Berry or Bo Diddley or people who didn't give a shit about their records. That to us were, but when you see Carmine know every note on that, every guy's part, he knows the guitar part, he knows all the parts. He's like James Brown. It's like, you could arrange, you could fix any band, kick their ass, And
let me ask, I'm sorry, Jimmy, but let me
I'm done. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. I really, really do. But Warren, again, you're one of those. I've been following you for a long time, man, and it's an honor to see you here tonight. And thanks for joining us. You're one of those guys that really knows their rock and roll history, and some of your comments about Tim Bogert were just so heartfelt. And can you give us your kind of testimonial to Tim, because I think it really says a lot about Tim the musician and Tim the man?
Well, "You Keep Me Hanging On" was the first thing that I heard. I was 7 years old.
Oh my God!
Sorry, guys.
Oh, you're killing me, man.
Hey, Bonamassa makes me feel old, so I'm doing it back to you guys. But so I heard from the very beginning. But then I heard Cactus after that, and then I heard Beck, Bogert, and Appice. And the thing that always struck me with Tim was he had this "fuck you" attitude that a lot of us adopted. Alan Woody, my partner in crime in Government Mule, that was his whole thing was "fuck you, I'm going to do it my way." And I think what Tim contributed, I think Mark was the first person to say it tonight, the groove was always there. There was no denying that. There were a lot of cats that could go crazy but couldn't groove. Mm-hmm. Tim could groove his ass off and go crazy, and somehow came up with this distorted sound that made the whole band sound bigger, made the whole band sound louder. And it was just incredible. When we started Government Mule in '94, and I talked a little bit about this in the thing you were referring to that I wrote about Tim, it was based on the power trio, the whole art of an improvisational rock trio. And in the power trio, the bass player and the drummer have to do a bigger job than they have to do in any other band. Everybody does, but especially the bass player and the drummer. The way Carmine and Tim played together, whether any band they were in, left this blueprint for us to follow. And there were people, Jack and Ginger did it. There were people that played that way that made us not want to settle for less. So when we started the trio, we thought, all of our heroes, we got to set the bar really high. We can't go out there with some wimpy ass bass sound that people have been recording for decades now. Because I talked about also how the bass sound got more and more polite through the years, and rock and roll suffered as a result.
Are you referring to that dirty bass concept?
Absolutely. The bass in all the music that we loved. Even Jamerson, even there was some dirt there. They weren't trying to clean it up. McCartney was dirty. Everybody was dirty. It wasn't till the mid to late 70s that people started trying to sterilize the bass.
Yeah, and
disco.
and the drums.
And the drum. Yeah, and the drums.
But when you're playing in a trio, you have to have that engine behind you that's just firing on all cylinders and going all the time. Otherwise, you might as well add an instrument. The key to and when I think of trios, like I'm also including Zeppelin and the Who and Cactus and bands where there was a front man. We're thinking about that as well. But Tim was one of the models that we all studied, and it was just a way of making the music go. When you thought it couldn't go higher, it's going to go higher. And to me, that's such a lost art. It's great that people are still kind of studying that, and hopefully it'll be around forever, because there's no reason to settle for less than what the best music can be. And you guys showed us, Carmine, you and Tim showed us a lot of what a rhythm section can be. It doesn't have to be just playing what the producer tells you to play.
Yep. Well, that's what's been said about the Fudge, and in particular about Tim.
Absolutely.
Really setting the bar. Really setting the bar for bands.
Right.
Absolutely. The Vanilla Fudge was like, even though I was young, it knocked my head off. Mm-hmm. And then and Beck Bogert and Appice knocked my head off in a whole different way. And I went back recently and listened to that live in Japan. And man, some of the stuff that Tim was playing on there is so underrated.
We have a new one going to come out this year. It's live in 1974 at the London Rainbow.
I heard about that.
It has 7 new songs. And when I talked to Jeff after we mixed it, Jeff said, "This is a great record." He said, "Not only is it great, but we're all playing very humorous." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, like I would do something stupid, then Tim would do something stupid to follow me, and then you would do something stupid to follow me. So the three of us would, like one after another would catch what the other one did, something silly, and we would answer each other." And I said, "Yeah, I guess you're right, because there was a lot of that kind of stuff going on,
Well,
it was all jamming. Really. I think my brother, when he played with Dio, they had that same trio consciousness as well, with Jimmy Bain and Vinny were a great rhythm section, and Vivian Campbell just kind of sailed over them. And I know Vinny never recorded like going, okay, well, this is what I'm going to play in the verse, and then in the pre-chorus, I'm going to play this every time, and then I'm going to play this, and then I'm going to pad up all my drums and make them sound like pillows. And that was in the 80s. That was 1982, and I used to love that original Dio band because of it. And it reminded me of all we did. And then when I joined Blue Murder, Tony Franklin, we had the same vibe as me and Tim, and that trio vibe that you're talking about, which is nothing like it.
Well, let me ask you,
what about Timmy using a fudge box?
Yeah.
Nobody ever did that back then, right? A bass solo, then all of a sudden kicked into the fuzz tone.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was an amp,
And the solo just went up to the moon, It was just like, holy shit.
Carmine, we talk about every week we talk about. Oh, go ahead, Carm.
Tim used to come to like our family party sometimes when Vinny was little, so Vinny got to hang out with him as a person.
That's my question here, because we goof around a lot on this show every week, and once in a while it's really cool, guys, to see the younger brother messing with the older brother, and it's kind of cool. But not only Vinny, did you have Carmine as an older brother, but obviously you had Tim. How was he? Did you have that kind of a relationship hanging around with these guys, like Tim as an older brother figure?
Well, Tim, Carmine would bring him over to Mom's house in Brooklyn, and she would cook pasta, and Tim, Carmine were there. So Timmy was always so sweet and so nice, great to hang out with. He got along with the whole family, my cousin, just everybody loved him. And I myself was just totally influenced with the Fudge. Well, I used to go to the Action House. Parents would take me and my sister when I was 10 years old, right in the front of the stage watching. Well, Carmine's in the back, but Timmy was right in front of me. I'm like, holy shit. My friend Angelo, who wound up being the engineer for all the Dio records, we played together. He played bass. So that was our inspiration right there, watching Fudge. I mean, they were just insane, So it's such a good band. And then one other thing I'd like to say, back then when you watched Ed Sullivan's show, and like the Doors were on or the Association, then the Fudge went on. You never seen a bass player do that on Ed Sullivan or the whole band, but especially Timmy. Just
That's true.
holy shit! Bass players would normally stand there.
You look like he was spastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He
then
was the
Carmine
he was
twirling
the-
and all the double tone stuff, and
And you
nobody
couldn't get
played
him-
like this
you
stuff.
couldn't
Mark
keep
and Vinny.
Couldn't get
Beautiful.
Mark's hands down. Vinny was. Everybody looked great. It was awesome.
No, Tim was like the Sam Butera of bass. He just was like,
Hey.
the
wildest. Yeah.
for you old people. Hey,
Yeah.
real quick here, you mentioned Tony Franklin a little bit earlier, Carm, and obviously legendary bass player, fretless dude. He's got a little. He couldn't be with us tonight, but he did send us a message. Let's go to that. Ben.
Okay.
Fretless monster.
Hello, it's Tony Franklin here. Hey, I just wanted to pass along my huge respect and love to Tim Bogert. It was actually many years later that I became aware of him. For whatever reason, Vanilla Fudge, BBA, Cactus didn't really break through in the UK, so I didn't hear of him until I started working with Carmine Appice. Hi, Carmine. And so with my work with him, with Blue Murder, with Guitar Zeus, and many projects over the years. And then later on, I actually did some gigs with Carmine and Cactus. And that's when I really dove deeply into what Timmy was doing. And wow, such huge respect. I mean, what he was doing, just jamming in the hard rock context like that. What a groundbreaker, really. And it's a lot of fun to play his parts and get into the spirit of his parts, which was always very adventurous, just going for it and never know where it would go. And then, of course, Carmine was right there with me, with him. So it's the same spirit. So it was really nice to get into that place, and just huge, massive, mad respect and love. Tim, bless you on your travels, onto the next plane. My bass brother, all the best to you all. Thanks for your time, and cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, Tony
Cheers,
Franklin.
Tony.
Thank you so much.
God bless you. That's very nice.
My question is to the members of the Fudge here. When you guys were doing this, some of the, looking at some of the stuff that you guys have accomplished. Look who you played with, what you played before, who you played after. I mean, it blows my mind. Those years when you're working with and opening up for Page and the Yardbirds and Zeppelin.
No, they opened up for us.
I know that. I know that. I know. Sorry, I meant to say that. So that's what I meant. I mean, that whole thing, that whole dynamic there. I mean, I know we've talked about it, Carm, but what was Tim's? Was he impressed at all? Was he like just, hey, just show me where the bass line is, and I'll take it from there.
What do you say, Mark?
Could you clarify that? I couldn't hear you, Ron.
Oh, sorry. No, just like I said, being around when you had Zeppelin opening for you guys, when you're working with the Yardbirds and Jimmy, was Tim very much like, I don't want to say starstruck, but I mean, was he in the moment? Was he really feeling it?
Oh yeah, he was definitely in a moment. I mean, he used to check out Zeppelin, and he loved it. I mean, those were the raw groundbreaking days.
They would be starstruck with him.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, at first they were. At first they were starstruck, especially Robert, John, and John Bonham, and
I thought
actually,
you were talking about Tim. What he thought about Zeppelin.
but they were. He said they were starstruck as well. They were, but Tim wasn't really starstruck kind of guy. You know what I mean, Mark? He wasn't really starstruck kind of guy. But he was always in the moment, always there.
He was always in the moment, and he was a pretty smart dude. I mean, back when he was really young, I remember really musically, but he was really an intelligent cat.
What did we used to?
Hey guys, I got a story for you about Timmy with that.
Hold on, Vinny.
I just remember him having conversations on talking about building cars, or talking about the politics of the day, or the war in Vietnam, or fashion, or whatever. And I just half the time I didn't know what he was talking about. He was a little bit more mentally mature than I was anyway at the time. It took me a while to catch up to him, but when I finally did catch up to him, we hooked up pretty good for a number of years after that.
We used to call him Spock.
Why? Why?
Because
remember?
because you could ask him anything, and he'd
Really?
have an answer for you, right, Mark? You say,
Yeah.
why does that tree have brown and green bark? And Tim would go, well, that's because, and he'd start going. So after a while, we would say, okay, Spock,
I
And
never heard that about him.
Dig it. Dig this, guys. The quintessential Timmy. Listen to this one. Timmy was always eccentric, and something that always sticks in my mind. We were touring Europe, 68, 69. We played a gig in Paris. We did our show. Timmy did his solo. And while Carmine was doing his solo, Timmy sat at the front of the edge of the stage with his legs dangling, Mickey Mouse t-shirt, round crimson sunglasses, right? The colors, man, watching the audience watch us. You guys remember that?
Wow.
I kind of remember that, yeah.
That's kind of cool.
The quintessential Timmy.
He used to wear that Mickey Mouse t-shirt a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'd like to do, guys, because we are winding down here. It's been a great hour here. But before we go, there's a couple things. I'm going to finish with a little special thing on Tim and him performing. But you know what I'd like to do is, I don't know to what degree, and I don't want to get too personal with you guys with regards to any messaging that you had with Tim prior to his horrible passing. But if there's a message that you could say to Tim right now, and actually Vince Martell, I'm going to start with you, and then I'll call you guys. But what would be a message that you'd say as a final message of goodbye to your brother Tim?
I would say, Timmy, we loved you. We always will. You're the greatest bass player I ever worked with. Right on the money all the time. And, a little temperamental. Sometimes we had our differences of opinion, of course, as all rock and roll, as everybody does in life, actually. But it's a pleasure and an honor to work with Timmy. And I'm looking forward to rocking with you again. I told this to Timmy. I'm looking forward to rocking with the Lord with you, Timmy. So that's what I'm looking forward to, because he was like top notch, the best. Sensitive guy, wonderful guy, and we'll always love Timmy, and everybody in rock and roll will never forget him. God bless you, Timmy.
Great message. How about you, Warren?
Well, I hope he knew how important he was to rock and roll, and how much what he created will carry on for people in the future. His legacy goes far beyond what a lot of people understand. And I think a lot of musicians, especially if they don't get to that enormous pop star level, don't realize the impact that they make. And I hope that he did, but his impact on is going to be around for a long time, man.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Warren. Great words. How about you, Jimmy Vivino?
My mic is muted. Can you hear me? Oh, great. Yeah. I would just say, tell Jamerson and Coltrane we said hey. That's it. He's with his heroes.
Yep. That's all you need. You're right.
He's with his heroes. He's with his peers. It's equals.
Yep. How about you, Billy Sheehan? What would you say to Tim Bogert as a final goodbye?
Well, I had a conversation with him on the phone not too long ago, and I knew that he knew that his time was coming, and he was so gracious and so understanding. We all wonder what it's going to be like when we get there, and it was just what an amazing human being, exhibiting a life well lived, so well lived that seeing it come to a close was not necessarily a tragedy. That was quite beautiful. And I mentioned to him that how important he was to me, and that I stood on his shoulders. And thank you for having such incredible shoulders for not only myself, but for probably 10,000 other players who you were the spark and you were the fire that launched so many other players, and
Sure.
all of our lives and all of our music is better because of you.
Thanks, Billy.
Yeah.
Vinny Appice,
Very
what do you got to
nice.
say to Tim Bogert?
I would say, I mean, I don't play bass, but he was a big inspiration to me as a drummer, watching Tim play that good. And he set the bar for having, he played so well that it made me want to practice more to become as good as I can become.
Mm-hmm.
Inspiration to me in my whole career, you know, and Carmine, the whole band, Fudge, seeing the Fudge.
Sure.
It was like inspiring. And luckily, my brother Carmine wasn't a wimpy drummer,
Mm-hmm.
because it would have been easy to just say, hey, it's Carmine's brother I'm playing. I don't want to hit him too hard. But, you know, Carmine was the monster, and I had to be good.
Oh, are you saying I'm the original drum monster?
Yeah, how about it?
No. I'm the original. You're the original monster. But Tim was an inspiration just because he played so good, and showmanship. And I would just stand there and watch him at the Action House, Angelo and me, and man, go home and practice, you know, because he's incredible. So nobody played.
How about you, Mark Stein?
Yeah, well, for me, you know, I spoke to Tim several times in the last months of his life, you know. First time he called me, I hadn't spoke to him in a while, you know, and he kind of shocked me just to hear his voice. I said, well, here's a number coming from California. I thought it was one of those sales calls. I said, but I'll pick it up anyway, you know, and it was Tim. And he goes, Mark, I just wanted to talk. I said, well, man, how you doing? It's good to hear your voice. And he told me he was sick, you know. He told me he had cancer. And I said, whoa, hang on, back up a minute, and explained to me what's going on. And, you know, we talked a while about it, and he actually told me how liberating it was, the reality of what's going to be happening, you know. And we spoke a few more times after that. And the last time I spoke to him, I guess it was about 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, actually Carmine told me that he wanted me to call him. So I gave him a shot. He picked the phone up, and we had a really upfront, casual conversation. I said, you know, Tim, you know, we did something really special in our lives. You know, we dared to be different, you know, as a team. And, you know, we once walked together as kings.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great words, man.
Beautiful.
Great words.
Great
Thank you,
words.
Mark.
Very nice, Mark. Very good.
Thank you, Mark.
Beautiful.
Carmine,
Yeah.
what would you
For
say to your
For
brother?
me, it was very difficult. When I found out that he said he wouldn't have much time left, I mean, I was crying like a baby, you know. He was like my brother, you know, like Vinny, you know. And I got choked up, and I kept telling him, you know, that I love him. And I said, and you don't know how many other people love you. So I got on the phone and got everybody to call him, like Mark and Vinny and Dwayne Hitchings and this one and that one. Everybody called him, because what Warren was saying, he didn't realize, because he hasn't been playing in a long time, what legacy he really left. I think he forgot, you know?
Yeah.
And this kind of reminded him, and he called me and said, man, I really appreciate you having everybody call me. You know, it was really good for my soul. You know, I said, well, I'm glad. And you know, I told him I would try and help him as far as when he does pass, to try and help his wife, you know, go on with the life that, you know, all the stuff that has to be done for him. And he said he couldn't stop thanking me, you know. And I just loved him. I mean, I told him, look, we created something that nobody ever did before. We were the number one rock rhythm section for many, many years, and the bands we created all kicked ass. And you know, I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss calling you. I'm gonna miss talking to you I would call him every couple of weeks, 3 weeks. I call and see what's going on. When I go to LA, I go out to lunch with him. One time I went out to lunch with him, me, and Lita Ford. That was really a weird pairing, because there's Tim looking like a professor, me with my colored hair, and Lita with all her tattoos, sitting at an IHOP in Valencia,
Good.
And
Well, Carm, you played in all three of his bands, Beck, Bogert,
Yeah.
Appice, of course, the Fudge and Cactus, and I know you're in particular, but we're all going to miss him. We thank all of our everybody on our show tonight for making this such a special salute to our brother Tim Bogert, who's passed. His memory will live on, his music will live on, and you know why it's going to live on? And from me, the fan side, guys, I want to thank all of you, because his music is going to live on through guys like you. We love you. Thank you. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to close our show. We got a very special solo by Tim Bogert and Oreo, and it's going to be really cool. So once again, thank you all so much. Here's to our brother, Tim Bogert, Leslie West, Eddie V, all these guys, they're going to be with us. But again, God bless you guys for keeping the music alive and their memories and legacies alive. We'll see you guys. God bless you. And I'll leave you now with a solo from our brother that we lost. Gone too soon, Tim Bogert.
God bless you guys. Thank you. God bless you.
Much love to you all.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. Timmy, the best.
Timmy, the best.
It sounds like the bass mic was in another room.
Yeah, right.